Hi, welcome to Book Moon! I'm glad you chose to spend some time with me. If we haven't met before, I am Mashou and I create journaling and bookish content here on YouTube. In this video, I'm going to do the end of month updates of my reading journal. That will be, like you see Create Me here, my monthly stats page, but also updating the spreads I made for my readathon or reading challenge of the month, and also the update of my yearly reading trackers. This video is a little bit later than I would have liked. I am very sorry. I hope you can forgive me. This is still in the aftermath of my family's visit to the ER last weekend. The theme of this setup is, as always, the same theme as my monthly pages, and if you're interested in seeing those, I will have that video linked below in the description box for you. My theme was linked to the library since I participated in a TBRathon, Lost in the Library. I pre-plan my spreads before filming the setup, and most of the time that goes perfectly well. But for this spread I forgot that there was this little opening down there and I didn't like the way it was looking. And then I remembered I have this little washi tape that I didn't use in this setup completely, and I added it in. That gave me some little fidget work to get it pasted, because this lady sticker wouldn't come off the page easily to put the washi tape underneath it. In January I picked up 11 books. I DNF'd none, but I also didn't find any new 5-star reads. 2 of these books were ebooks and 6 were physical books. They make up for 2,812 pages. I listened to 3 audiobooks for a total of 30 hours and 38 minutes. There was some variety in the format of my books. I read 9 novels, 1 manga, 1 poem collection, and 1 comic book. 2 of my books were Kindle included, and 2 also were Audible included. 1 I paid for on Audible, 1 I owned, and 5 came from the library. I also read through 4 different genres. 7 books were fantasy, 2 were historical fiction. I read 1 paranormal and 1 sci-fi book. I read 3 French books and 5 books in French that were translations. 2 I read in English, and 1 that I read in English was a translation as well. 9 of the books I read were part of a series. One of those was a companion novel. I started 4 series but DNF'd one of them, so I only add 3 to my list. I finished 1 series and read 2 sequels. This month I participated in TBRathon by Leandra, the TBR0, and I chose the TBR Explorer game. And I picked my prompts from that in the TBR video that will also be linked in the description box down below. I did read enough fantasy out of my main list for this readathon to be able to go with fantasy as a genre. And I made an average of all my star ratings for the star review part of this readathon. Let's go through the yearly reading spreads. No Aurelium activity this month, so we can jump straight in to my 52 book clubs connection challenge. And I started with pick any book, and for that I read Miss Percy's Pocket Guide for the Care and Feeding of British Dragons. And then the second book had or needed to have a word in common in the title, and for that I read Dragons of Autumn's Twilight by Margaret Weiss. I started my year with being behind on the Fitsalong. I read the book meant for December, and that was the first part of Dragonhaven. I didn't read any books in my 12 to finally read, but I thought that the Miss Percy was on it, but I mistook it with the Natural History of Dragons. I did read one book that was laying around at my house, and that is Flower Fairies by Cicely Marie Barker. That is part of the collection. I will link the vlog in which I showed that one down below as well. and it is not one that I set aside to read with my kids. So it can go to the Read Me bingo. And we're back to a TBRathon spread. Leandra is offering a year-long challenge with the Map of Stories part of that, and I'm participating in it. In January, we were meant to read a historical fiction with an historical setting, with one person on the cover, and a recommendation that we saw on BookTube. So I read this French book called La Folle Destinée des Cœurs des Lacs by Aurore Drécourt, which is the author of Le Secret du Faucon, which I have been talking much about on this channel. And I saw it recommended by two French booktubers, on which Emilia from La Bibliothèque d'Emilia, which I forwarded here, but also Valérie from my little library. This is my series spread, and we will have some updating to do. Not only I add 3 new series to this list, but I also need to add in some that I forgot to add in prior. The first one is La forêt de Hoshigahara, which is a manga series that is not translated to English, and I hoped I would have read the 5th book in that series before the end of 2025, but unfortunately it came in January, so I need to add it to the list, and that is then one series completed already. I also add in Mahé, which is a French comic book series made out of 4 books. I read the first one a while ago in my comics video, I think. I will link that also. And I did read the 2nd volume in that series this month. The 3rd series I need to add is another 4 books comic series, Le Château des Animaux, that I started in December and that I forgot to add on this list. Then there is Mrs. Percy's trilogy that needs to be added, Dragonlance. And I also need to add the duology of La Folle Destinée des Cœurs des Lacs. What I forget to do on camera is to complete the cycle 1 of Le Secret du Faucon, because I did finish book 4 in December and book 5 in January. And last year I indicated finished series by highlighting the number, which I will also do later on. And just in a few minutes I go from 18 active series to 23, which is a little bit scary, but I'm not going to worry. We have 11 months to finish up a lot of them. I'll hope you stick around to see how many I do finish this year. This video will have 2 other parts coming up. The first one is the review of the 6 books that I would have made you in my carousel vlog, the one that I will say it a couple of times did not come out due to the weekend at the emergency room. So you will find those just after this part. And after that you will find another part with an overview of all the books and in which vlog you can find them. So all the books I read in January, obviously. And with each slide there will be a little link in the corner so that you can click to go to the video in which I discuss that book. How did your reading month go? Please let me know in the comments, and let me know which was your favorite book of the month. Since I couldn't make the vlog of the carousel vlog that was meant to be there for you on Monday, and if you missed my announcement on the community tab of my channel, that was because we spent the weekend in the hospital and in the emergency room with one of our family members, so I didn't got any time to film neither the book reviews, neither the activities we've planned. I've decided to add these books very quickly to this reading journal update, so you still have the reviews for them, because I have 6 books to talk to you about, which is a lot more than we usually do, but that's also because there are some comics and mangas with that. But let's start with the one and only audiobook, which was the Haunted Bookstore or Bookshop. I keep forgetting. I'll put a title. And this is a Japanese light manga series that I found included in Audible. And since I have enjoyed light novels before, I decided to give it a go. It is about a young woman that got stuck or got adopted in the spirit world after her parents died in the real world. So it's light novel, it's Japanese, so we are very much in the Japanese way of seeing life and yokai and spirits and things like that. And we will meet her when she goes partly work in the human world and then comes back, and we will meet the spirits around her, the village around her, and she will come across a little boy. To her he's little because he's younger than she is, but she's about 20 and he's about 17, who got into this spirit realm from departing from the human world, and who is injured, and he will turn out to be an exorcist that is looking for a spirit that is his friend in this world. The premise is fantastic, but unfortunately I really struggled to listen to it. It's a little bit more than 6 hours. I struggled. I spent more than 2 weeks on it to listen to it. Well, I have less time, that's one reason, but the other one is this is or the narrator is using the anime style of speaking. So it's very high-pitched, it is very Japanese style, and it was very difficult for me to listen to. I also kept zoning out all the time. And so there is part of the story that I just can't recollect anything from in my mind, but it doesn't matter, you can still follow along. And that's a little bit sad. So for me, unfortunately, this did not work. I did finish the book. I did think it had something. Maybe on paper it would have worked better for me, but I'm not even sure that I have access to it. So for now, this series will be a DNF for me. Then we have, and I will start with those, I did read one manga and one comic. The manga I read is this one, and it is called The Magical Forest of Hoshigahara, and it is by Hisae Iwaoka. It is the 5th book and the last book in this series. I read the first 4 all the way back in May, if you want to know more about them, in one of my hackathon vlogs. I will try to find it for you and link it. So this concludes this story. I've been waiting for it for a while, and so there's not much I can tell about this book, but I really enjoyed it. I just was a little bit disappointed by the way the ending was done, but not with how it really is, but with some little aspect of it, but telling you about it would spoil, so I will not. But great read, great series, but I am not sure it exists in English, but I really like it, and I still enjoy so much. Let's see if I can find the way the forest is portrayed in these mangas. It's very beautiful artwork. The other shorter book I read was this one. This is Ella Mahé, and I read one of those, I think, in our vlog about comic books. It is by Mary's and Jean-François Charles, who also made the India Dreams series I read this year. And I'm pretty sure I read the first one of those in the comics vlog, because the guest author in this one is also a Belgian comic author or drawer. It's Francis Carin. And in this book we are following Ella, who is going to Egypt for a new job. She is a person that restores old papers and old books, and she goes there to restore a collection. And she will meet a young man, and through this event she will learn more about parts of the history of Egypt. And in this book we have a part drawn by Jean-François Charles, and then the history part, which is a flashback, is drawn by, in every volume, a guest artist. I really find it interesting to learn more about Egypt. And this is more history lesson than story, and I still really enjoy reading those as well. Then there are 3 books, and one I'm going to save for a little bit later, because I'm hoping to make this review with Naoki, because I read it with him. The next one is and I always forget the English title. It is with flower fairies, the flower fairies. I think it's that at the end, maybe. Flower Fairies, indeed, by Cecile Mary Barker. And I'm a little bit sad I didn't read this in English. So this is of my famous beautiful collection, and in this book we have a compilation of the different books that this author brought out between 1923 and 1987, but that was posthumous because she died before that. And she made these beautiful drawings of fairies linked to flowers or nature elements for each season. And then there is a little poem on the other side, and unfortunately I think the traduction or the translation of the poems took away of their beauty or their figurative speech, and that's why I would have preferred reading it in English, but then it was still enjoyable to read. The other book that I read is Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro, which is I had to talk about it several times in 2025, quite popular dystopia for the moment. And in this book we will meet Kat or Kathy when she is 31 years old, and she is at a split in her life where she has been informed that her role as an companion, and I hope the translation will be cohesive with the terms used in the English book. She will stop this after almost 12 years in a few months, and this is a big transition in her life, and we will go with her back to her childhood at a boarding school called Hailsan, where she meets Ruth and Tommy, who will become her best friends. And we will see how this childhood is quite peaceful. It is in the 90s, so we'll say that for in the 90s she has a comfortable childhood, not one with all luxury, but also not a very bad one. And they reflect on that, knowing everything that comes behind, and we will follow her whole life along, and we will discover a lot. So this is dystopia. This is also a little bit sci-fi, and I'm not going to tell you why, because that's the whole clue of the story. And to me, in this period of time, maybe even a little bit horrific as a story. I enjoyed this really much, even if I expected to come in a book with a very clear dystopia from the start, a world in which something very big happened and in which society has completely changed, and of course there are some very bad treated minorities in this. But no, if you're going with that, no, it's not that. It feels quite slice of life for most of the time, and it is really in little phrases and in the unsaid things that you have to look for the dystopia in itself. It was very touching. It grabbed me a lot, especially the second half of it. And I'm very, very, how you say that in English? Perturbated by it. It is something that is going around in my mind. I think it's something that will be in my mind for a long time. It really made me see things another way.
Unsettling.
Unsettling. Thank you, Tilia. It is quite unsettling and quite accurate in some way on some of the subjects in this book, and I really recommend you, if you didn't read this one, I really recommend you to read it. So I'm going to pause for now because we are in the park in front of the school, and I'm going to pick up the little ones, and when we come back I will just take the time to talk to you with Naoki about this little book. Together with Naoki, during the month of January, we read By Ash and Oak and Thorn by Melissa Harrison. This is the first book in, I think, a duology, and it is a children's story that talks about these three little guys of the hidden people who are trying to solve the mystery why one of them becomes completely translucid. In this book we will discover nature, and we also learn a lot about taking care of our environment. I will ask Naoki if he liked this book. Est-ce que tu as aimé ce livre?
Yeah.
Yes? You liked it? How much? Hoeveel? Combien? Montre-moi. Un petit peu. He liked it so much. So this will cover up all the books that we read in the last week of January that we couldn't show you before. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to know what we'll be reading in February, the first vlog will be out around the 15th of the month.